As one of the very few direct sequels in the Legend of Zelda series, Tears of the Kingdom has a lot to live up to. Breath of the Wild was a giant step forward for the franchise, propelling the experience into a massive open world while introducing countless new gameplay mechanics, such as cooking, puzzles, Link's powers, and so much more. There's no denying that Tears of the Kingdom feels familiar due to this, but at the same time, the game feels wonderfully new too. This is thanks to a number of fantastic new introductions to not only the world around you, but also the general gameplay. Hyrule is bigger and better in so many ways. The catastrophic event called the Upheaval has caused the land to rupture, forming new locations and reworking many of the older ones too. Then there's the sky above Hyrule, which is now its own open world littered with floating platforms, each containing their own little area of mystery and excitement. Nintendo then took things further by creating an entire clone of Hyrule deep underground the kingdom. This fully explorable area is shrouded in complete darkness and for the most part is a one-to-one map replica of the land above. So Tears of the Kingdom has 3 sprawling areas to bask in. Each of them delivers an unrivaled sense of exploration, which you struggle to find in gaming these days. In all honesty, I haven't been captivated by an open world so brilliantly designed as this since Elden Ring. To make things better, it far surpasses Breath of the Wild 2 thanks to its newly reworked areas of Hyrule, the Sky Kingdom, and of course the eerie world that awaits below. I'm not kidding around when I said I literally got lost for hours on end exploring the dark chasms of the underground. It is immaculately detailed with abandoned mines scattered around each hill, enemy fortresses to fight through, secrets to uncover, and so much more. Nintendo also encouraged me to explore this dark underworld by delivering some of the game's best creation tools, which can only be obtained by looking around the area. The Depths also delivers an incredible sense of mystery thanks to its pitch black landscape. No joke here, the land is completely dark and you can't see anything but a few enemy bonfires, poles lit up in the distance, and the red substance which has infected the land called gloom. I was forced to either attach bright gloom seeds to my arrows to light up the distance or stand around and throw them ahead of me to help me guide my way. Every now and then I would spot a light root in the distance, which are giant bulb-like trees that act as fast travel spots and lanterns which light up the area. However, these only light up the area to a certain degree, so once I walked a bit further, I then had to rinse and repeat the process. It is a truly one-of-a-kind experience to explore, and the sheer sense of danger makes it a triumph in world design. Of course, the gloom is also deadly. It ate away at Link's heart, blocking healing until I returned to the surface or healed them using the light route. Gloom-infected enemies would also disable these hearts, forcing me to take an entirely different approach to combat. It also then adds new gloom-resistant gear to the game and new recipes I could cook up to heal the hearts back. As a result, the entire of the Depths and everything it brings to the game felt so refreshing. It also merges into the story and the quests brilliantly. In every location I visited on the surface, I could not help but wonder what the depths might look like in the area down below. Every time I spotted a chasm, which is a giant gaping hole in the ground leading downwards, I wouldn't think twice about jumping down. As a result, I got lost down there for countless hours. Tears of the Kingdom also relies heavily on a sandbox feature that sees Link craft and create things. Now when I use the word create, I really mean the possibilities are as limited as your imagination. I could pick virtually anything up with Link's phantom arm, drag it around and attach it onto another object. This goes for everyday items such as blocks, rocks, wooden logs, barrels, and other assets. However, the real fun is using what the game calls our Zonar devices to craft stuff. These objects are functional assets that come in many forms, countless forms, and if anything I was only as good as my current creation. Taking a fan and slapping it onto a set of wooden logs made a boat. The fan would then propel me across the lake. I could then take things a step further and combine a rocket with 3 fans and a bird-like plane object together. I could then attach a control stick and I had myself a literal jet plane which soared through the air. These creations are not only vital to getting around but also incredibly fun to make and experiment with. The Zonar rocket was definitely my favorite to use. While its life is short-lived, it helped me boost things across the sky, land, and lakes. I made it a thing of mine to put a rocket onto everything I made. This creation system not only makes exploration fun, but at times I use the objects in combat too. I often dropped down a Zonar spring when I was fighting a flux golem who decided to float in the air above me. That way I could quickly shoot into the air and glide down on top of the enemy to deal real damage. Link can also attach these objects to his weapons and shields. A rocket on his shield would act as a boost into the air. A fire-breathing sonar device on a sword would then spit out flames when I slashed at enemies. If anything, Tears of the Kingdom is a playground, and these features make it pure joy to mess around with. From attaching flower bombs to arrows or building a mini army of tanks, there's no limit to where I took the game, and it is a simple set of features that elevates the game to a remarkable level. All of this works hand in hand with the exploration too. In the depths and in the Sky Kingdom, I often created a plane with a few lights on it to soar through the darkness down below. I would then use a floating platform and rockets to push myself higher and higher into the sky above. The Sky Kingdom isn't as vast as the depths, but it is also an entirely unique experience on its own. Thanks to these floating islands, I was forced to explore the lands whenever I found myself shot into the air. I could also decide to go there at any moment by just constructing a vehicle to do so. These floating islands come with their own challenges. Firstly, they are obviously floating in the air, so getting around is always nerve-wracking. Most of the time, I was given tools to get around, but nothing was stopping me from creating a plane, balloon, or rocket-powered floating platform. You can tell how much I love these rockets. But the floating islands offer the same unrivaled freedom as Hyrule and the depths. Every new floating rock I encountered had to be explored. Every shrine had to be conquered. Every treasure chest had to be unlocked. It is just a constant feed of fun in Tears of the Kingdom. Hyrule is just as breathtaking. With towns scattered across the land and people to meet, it was difficult to decide where I would spend my time. I made an effort to spark a conversation up with every person I met. Even if they didn't have a direct quest to take on, their dialogue would offer insight into something in the area worth investigating. Of course, the game doesn't track this, so I had to constantly take screenshots and type down notes of the tidbits of information in order to take on my own personal quests. The sheer sense of adventure here is so incredibly addictive that I would often phase out and disappear on my own journey in Tears of the Kingdom. Hours later, I would be far off from my actual objective, but oozing with joy. Many of the iconic features from Breath of the Wild have also returned in Tears of the Kingdom. Everything can be cooked, and Link can't withstand certain climates without the correct gear and items. Of course, the game doesn't hold your hand here either. I had to venture out to find the ingredients to heal a person infected with gloom, or find a store to buy the cold resistant gear at, until such a time I couldn't proceed further with my quest. In many ways, the game made me responsible for how effective my trips were through the world. I had to problem solve obstacles in my way, cook food to prepare for a tough adventure, craft vehicles to get around, and read dialogue to uncover my next goal. Even though the missions would list the objectives, the game forcefully leaves out vital parts of the quest such as locations and items. Only chatting with certain people would detail this important information. Link also takes on some wonderful main quests in the game. I won't discuss them here to avoid spoilers, but the companions also joined my quest and came with their own unique abilities I could use throughout the game. They also fight directly alongside Link, which is great for large-scale battles. Of course, I have to discuss the performance of the game here too, because it's a hot topic. Tears of the Kingdom does have moments where the frame rate was all over the place. Often when building vehicles and moving large objects around the world, this would pop up. More so during combat with multiple enemies on the screen at the same time. Fire in the grass would kick up wind and cause this too. With that being said, is it broken and unplayable? Not in the slightest. At times I wondered how Nintendo actually pulled this game off with 4GB of RAM on the Switch. Sure, things aren't as crisp and detailed in the distance as you would see on other platforms, but the world is impressive at every angle. Smoke and mirrors have clearly been used to hide some of the rough parts in the game too. But Tears of the Kingdom still looks phenomenal, and it is a dream to play through even when the odd frame rate drops happen. If you live with Breath of the Wild's odd frame rate drops, you'll be fine here too. They seem to be happening at the same time. But it is the combination of everything I have discussed that makes Tears of the Kingdom a masterpiece. The fleshed out world is both magical and daunting at the same time. The sense of exploration combined with the playground mechanics creates an awe-inspiring sense of freedom. Where Breath of the Wild struck gold, Tears of the Kingdom has hit diamonds. It is majestic, it is the ceremonious journey of the decade. That powerful feeling I had as I leapt off a rock in the sky only to gasp at joy at the world below doesn't happen every day. It truly brought light to my life for the past few weeks and made those dark days better. That is the magic in Tears of the Kingdom, and I loved every second of it.